Rashee Rice's high-speed crash, 30 days in jail. Imagine driving at breakneck speeds, weaving through traffic, and leaving chaos in your wake. That's the nightmare Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice found himself in, sentenced to 30 days behind bars for a high-speed crash in Dallas that left multiple vehicles in a tangled mess and people injured. It's a shocking turn of events for a player who had the world at his feet. But here's where it gets controversial. Rice, 25, pleaded guilty to 2 third-degree felony charges: collision involving serious bodily injury and racing on a highway causing bodily injury. The Dallas County District Attorney's Office reported that he was driving his Lamborghini Urus SUV at a staggering 119 miles per hour, 191 kilometers per hour, when he made multiple aggressive maneuvers around traffic, ultimately causing a chain reaction crash on March 30, 2024. And this is the part most people miss. After the crash, Rice didn't stop to check on the injured victims. Instead, he fled on foot, adding another layer of controversy to this already troubling incident. In a statement released by his attorney, Rice expressed remorse for the damages caused by his reckless actions. He urged everyone to drive safely and take responsibility for their actions on the road. But the question remains: can we ever truly trust a player who abandoned those in need after causing such destruction? The Kansas City Chiefs, while acknowledging the reports, remained tight-lipped about the potential consequences for Rice. "With it being an ongoing legal matter, we won't have a comment at this time," they said. However, Rice is now facing the possibility of suspension under the NFL's personal conduct policy. The league is closely monitoring the situation, but will they take a firm stand against such reckless behavior? As fans, we're left to ponder the consequences of such actions. How can we reconcile our admiration for these athletes with their sometimes troubling off-field behavior? And what message does it send when a player's punishment seems to be more about the crash than the actions that led up to it? Let's discuss. Share your thoughts below. Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice pleads guilty to 2024 car crash charges, suspension, and legal fallout. In a shocking turn of events, Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice is likely to face a suspension following his guilty plea to 2 third-degree felony charges related to a 2024 car crash, sources reveal. The charges, which include collision involving serious bodily injury and racing on a highway causing bodily injury, were brought against Rice in a Dallas County court on Thursday, as confirmed by the Dallas County release. https://www.dallaskounty.org/assets/2025/20 The incident in question is a multi-vehicle car crash that occurred in 2024, in which Rice's Lamborghini was involved in a chain reaction collision with 4 other vehicles. With the sentencing now issued, league sources have confirmed that Rice is likely to face a multi-game suspension. The NFL has released a statement saying, "We have been closely monitoring all developments in the matter, which remains under review." As part of a plea agreement with the Dallas County District Attorney's Office, Rice was sentenced to 5 years of deferred probation and 30 days in jail as a condition of his probation. He was also required to pay restitution to all the victims for their out-of-pocket medical expenses prior to the plea, totaling $115,481.91 per the release. Rice's lawyer Royce West released a statement on Rice's behalf, expressing his remorse for the damages caused and urging everyone to drive safely. The preliminary investigation into the crash revealed that Rice's Lamborghini and former SMU teammate Theodore Knox's Corvette were racing at high speeds when Rice struck the median wall. Rice and Knox fled the scene, while 2 other drivers involved in the crash were treated for minor injuries and 2 occupants of another vehicle were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. An arrest warrant was issued for Rice after the crash, and he turned himself into police 1 day later. In addition to civil lawsuits filed by the other drivers involved, Rice was facing criminal charges of aggravated assault, collision involving serious bodily injury, and 6 counts of collision involving injury. Despite the crash, Rice was not placed on the commissioner's exempt list, and Jeff Miller, NFL Executive Vice President of Communications, Public Affairs and Policy. Rashee Rice, a second chance to promote safe driving. Rashee Rice is a young man who has certainly found himself on a fortunate path after facing serious legal issues. With the conclusion of the court case against him, this Kansas City Chiefs player has an excellent opportunity to turn his life around and guide young people away from reckless decisions that could lead them down a dangerous road, similar to his own ordeal, or worse. Moreover, it would be wise for the Chiefs organization to take a firm stance and implement a zero-tolerance policy regarding any further misbehavior from Rice, who is entering his 3rd year as a wide receiver. Recently, Rice, now 25, entered a guilty plea for 2 third-degree felonies, causing a serious bodily injury through a collision, and engaging in street racing that led to serious injury. This information was confirmed by a press release from the Dallas County District Attorney's Office. His plea relates to a high-speed crash he caused last spring on a Texas highway. In a deal with prosecutors, Rice will serve 30 days in jail, and has been placed on deferred probation for 5 years. This means that if he manages to stay on the right side of the law during this period, there's potential for this conviction to be expunged from his record. One can only hope that Rice rises to the occasion. However, if he falters in any aspect of his probation, the Chiefs should consider severing ties with this talented player. Additionally, there's another facet to consider in this situation. It was reported that Rice has not made a payment towards a $1 million settlement he agreed upon with one of the victims injured in the high-speed crash. What if Rice, in addition to addressing his civil obligations, partnered with local law enforcement to spread awareness about the dangers associated with reckless driving? A comprehensive public service campaign dedicated to safe driving, specifically targeting teenagers, could significantly aid in mending his public image. To his credit, Rice has taken a step in this direction after his guilty plea. However, allegations of his failure to compensate one of his victims as promised do cast a shadow over his intentions. Through a statement released via his attorney, Royce West, Rice expressed regret for his actions during that fateful incident in Dallas, saying, "Last March, I was involved in a high-speed accident in Dallas. I would personally characterize this event as more than just an accident. It was a potentially fatal crash, but acknowledging one's mistakes is a vital first step." He added, "There have been a lot of sleepless nights thinking about the damages that my actions caused, and I will continue working within my means to make sure that everyone impacted will be made whole. I urge everyone to mind the speed limit, drive safe and drive smart." In some ways, Rice is quite lucky. Though serving 30 days in jail and a 5-year probation term isn't ideal, he got off relatively lightly considering the gravity of the situation. Reports suggest that at least 4 individuals suffered injuries from the multi-vehicle crash, which speaks volumes about the potential consequences he narrowly avoided. The Lamborghini SUV that Rice was driving was reportedly clocked at an alarming 119 miles per hour prior to the incident. Under the terms of the plea agreement, Rice is obligated to cover more than $115,000 in medical expenses incurred by the injured parties, and is required to complete 60 hours of community service. It would be impactful for Rice to fulfill this community service requirement by engaging with the youth in Kansas City and Dallas about the significance of safe driving. Data from 2023 by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration shows alarming statistics. Traffic collisions are the leading cause of unintentional deaths among those aged 15 to 24. In 2021 alone, 2,116 drivers aged 15 to 20 lost their lives due to crashes, with another 203,256 sustaining injuries in such incidents. Despite representing merely 5.1% of the nation's licensed drivers, individuals under 21 accounted for 8.5% of all drivers involved in fatal crashes, and 12.6% in all crashes. This clearly indicates that young drivers face a disproportionately higher risk of fatality compared to their adult counterparts. Rice is in a unique position to leverage his experiences as a mentorship opportunity, guiding teenagers toward becoming safer and more responsible drivers. What do you think? Should athletes like Rice take on a more active role in public safety campaigns? Or does involvement in such initiatives fall short of accountability? Share your thoughts.